Well, thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. We're about ready to get started. I hope you had a great week and hope you have enjoyed the week as best you can. And let's get ready to do something.
Welcome to the Empower Room for empowering moments with your host, Timothy Hughes. Empowering Moments is brought to you by Empower Media, LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
Well, welcome to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Reverend Tim Hughes, and we thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon. And please like our page, send us an emoji, leave a comment, share, and follow us. And we also are on YouTube as of a couple of weeks ago. So we ask that you please subscribe to our page on YouTube. This month, we're looking to increase our following due to a wonderful announcement we will be having in January 2021. So please like and share and follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube. All right. All right. So Empower Media is a social empowerment entity, and we empower community through social and digital media, book publishing, programs, and speaking engagements. We have over 25 years of experience, and we welcome you to check out our website at MPWR'ing1.com. As you can see on the screen, it's spelled differently than you would normally spell it. It's a play on words, if you will. And it's spelled MPWR Media LLC1.com. So again, it's MPWR Media LLC1.com, and you will be able to check out our menu of services and various things that Empower does. This is a new entity that started actually beginning of this year in light of the pandemic. And we are so proud of what we have been able to accomplish to this point. So therefore, in regards to what we've accomplished, we have our first magazine that came out in print and also an e-magazine, the Examiner Quarterly, which is now available for you, and you're able to actually purchase the Examiner Quarterly on our website at Empower Media LLC1.com, and we are more than welcome to take your order there for your paper copy, and it is also available in e-form on our website as well. If you'd like to just see the e-version of the magazine, you're welcome to go to that as well on our website, and it's the last menu item that you will be able to view the entire magazine right there if you'd like to do that as well. All right, and our next issue will be coming out in February 2021, and real excited about how that is shaping up in regard to that magazine as well. We had a wonderful lead story on our first one, Sarah Collins Rudolph, who was a fifth little girl who survived the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in 1963. Sarah Collins Rudolph in Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama. And we were blessed to have her on the show as well and interview her. And she is the cover story for our first edition of the Examiner Quarterly. And for our understanding, also, she does have a book out at this time too. So encourage you to check out Sarah Collins Rudolph's book, which is available as well in print. And if you're interested in getting more information in regard to our Examiner, we do have two stores here locally where you're able to actually pick up a hard copy, which is Pan African Connection in Dallas, and also in Indus Boutique is also, which is another place where you can pick up our magazine, which is in Duncanville. All right, and I'm so grateful to be able to announce that my first publication, In the Blink of an Eye, is now available. And I thank all of those who have been purchasing the book and sharing your book on Facebook and all that. Thank you all so much. And it is available on Amazon and also in paperback on Amazon and also through Kindle ebook. You're able to download the book as well. So I just want to encourage those who do purchase the book or download it on your Kindle. If you could post a picture on Facebook for us of you holding the book or showing it on your Kindle. We really would appreciate it as we are wanting to share the book with as many people as we possibly can. It's truly, I feel, an true story, first off, but it's a true inspirational story that I think will be a blessing to a lot of people as I share my story of what happened to me on February 14, 2014. And it states in the title that it was an out of this world experience that I had that I wanted to share that was recommended to me to share by members of our former home church in St. Louis, Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Donald Ray McNeil is the pastor. All right, so I want to encourage you to please check out the book. You can also go to our website, Empower Media LLC 1, and you can go to the store page. And at the bottom of the store page, that will also take you to purchasing the book if you would prefer to go that route, which is a little less cumbersome, and it'll just take you straight to you purchasing the book there on Amazon. All right, so again, just go to our Empower Media LLC 1.com website and go to the store page, and at the bottom you'll see the book available. We just click on that, or the ebook, Kindle ebook, and click on that, and that way you will be able to purchase the book as well that way. All right. So we cover on Sundays three areas: cultural moment, a civic moment, and an inspirational moment. So for the cultural moment, again, I want to lift up the concerns in regard to the COVID-19. Been watching the numbers, and I would imagine most of us are watching the numbers, and we are really getting close to that 300,000 number of deaths in the U.S. in regard to COVID-19, and so grateful that there is a vaccine that has been approved, and it appears that, from what I understand, that there will be first issuance of the vaccine on tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, to the healthcare workers, frontline workers, and that type of thing. And I know there are different levels of folk that the shots will be going out to, the vaccine will be going out to, and pray that this is truly a one of the solutions to slowing this pandemic down. Again, but we need to make sure that we are doing our part. That's for all of us. We need to make sure that we're wearing our mask. We need to make sure that we're social distancing. We need to make sure that we're washing our hands. We need to make sure that we are not gathering. I'm sorry, I miss my mom who's in St. Louis. I have not seen my mom since the beginning of this year, but I am not putting my mom at risk by my inability to follow CDC guidelines. I'm not going to do that, and my mom's not going to allow me to do that either. So I got one of them kind of mamas. Okay, so anyway, so let's make sure that we're doing what we have to do. Hey, if we need to, I know this is Christmas season getting ready to come, New Year's, we want to get together, party, bring in the new year, 2021. But hold up, wait a minute. All right, we can be patient. We can all be adults, and let's just chill. Okay, just relax. It's gonna be okay. So we will all be blessed to, if God says the same, for us to see each other in 2021 next year this time. All right, let's not make our exit earlier than what it really has to be. Okay, or cause anyone else's exit to be earlier than it really has to be. Let's just be adults. Let's Just follow the guidelines, and if we do, we may be able to really put an end to this thing a whole lot quicker than we can imagine. Okay, so please let's make sure we're doing that. All right, everyone, let's please make sure we're doing that. All right. So our next moment is the civic moment that I want to bring up, and I've been sharing since the election. That we definitely keep Georgia in our prayers and our thoughts, and for those that may be watching from the Georgia area, if you have friends from the Georgia area, in fact, our guest that we have today providing an inspirational moment is from Georgia. So I'm so grateful for him to be on with us, Mr. Michael Wynn. And but we want to encourage you, those in Georgia, to please vote. I know the registration deadline is passed as of December 7th, but you do have early voting that starts on tomorrow. So please, let's make sure we're early voting. I know for this election itself, I made sure I early voted myself for the presidential election, myself and my wife, and we were the first 10 people in the line for early voting, and everything went very smoothly for that. So I'm so grateful that we did that, because when we left out, the line was already long on the first day of early voting. So if you are blessed to be able to get out and early vote, I highly recommend that you choose that option of early voting there in Georgia. And there's, of course, the runoff between Warnoff and Loeffler and Ossoff and Purdue. And the actual election day is January 5th, 2021. That is the actual election day, January 5th, 2021. So let's keep Georgia lifted. Let's pray that the results of this election will be beneficial to all Americans and the advancement of our country in a direction that will benefit all of us. All right, is my prayer. Okay. All right. So now I want to move to our special guest, Mr. Michael Wynn, who was with us. And Mr. Wynn, how are you today?
Well, thank you, sir. Very well.
All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so grateful to have you on, and how befitting to have you on with you being in Georgia, and in light of what is going on in Georgia right now in relation to the election and all that good stuff. So I'm so glad that you were able to come on. I just want to share a little information about you before we get into our conversation. Mr. Wynn is a parent, educator, curriculum developer, researcher, and the founder and CEO of the Foundation for Ensuring Access and Equity, a community based organization that partners with the faith community, school districts, and post secondary institutions to expand post secondary opportunities for all students. As a child of poverty and first in his family to attend college, Mr. Wynn is the author of 28 books. Let me repeat that, 28 books. I don't think you got that. 8, 28 books. All right. And acutely aware of the challenges and obstacles confronting such students. Michael Wynn was born in rural Alabama and given up for adoption at 6 months of age to a family who lived on Chicago's infamously marginalized South Side. A child of poverty in a community plagued by gangs, drugs, and violence, Mr. Wynn's personal experience has shaped his core belief that young people must be inspired before they can be informed, and that they must know that you care before they care what you know. All right, so for over 30 years, Mr. Wynn has taught students in traditional K through 12 settings and in the Los Angeles juvenile courts schools, the largest juvenile court school system in the United States. As an advocate of the children being vested in their own learning, Mr. Wynn developed a college planning cohort program delivered through a differentiated and culturally relevant college career readiness curriculum that not only informs but inspires students to own the process by setting academic leadership and community service goals. As a consequence, each year, students from lower income families and marginalized communities have gained access to America's best colleges and universities and top scholarships. And this is a heavy brother here that we have. We're talking educational empowerment today. I was blessed to see he and his beautiful wife in action in the Ferguson Florissant School District when I was working in the Ferguson Florissant School District, and never forgot that how he impacted me. I mean, it was there for our parent engagement event that we were having, but you impacted me so that I had to reach out to you for this conversation today. So I want to thank you again, Mr. Wynn, for coming on with us today in the Empower Room.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So, Mr. Wynn, we kind of talked before, but I just want to share with the audience. How are you doing? First off, in regard to the COVID-19 and other tensions that we're dealing with, we kind of talked about you and I offline. But how are you and your family doing? And in relation to the election stuff and COVID-19 and all that good stuff.
My family and I are doing well. The thing that we recognize is that while the challenges we have now may be unique in regard to a pandemic, challenges of living in America have always been with us. So we have gone through everything that we've had to go through, and we have trusted God to get us through it and simply created strategies to do what we need to do. And so now that we're in COVID-19 and now that schools had been locked down for us, our work has continued. Our family has continued to do the work that we were doing. When schools closed down last March, we already had our students working in an online curriculum. We were normally meeting with them one Saturday a month in person in North Carolina, South Carolina, and here in Georgia. And we simply moved those once monthly meetings to an all virtual format, and we never missed a beat. And then in the summer, when we normally would have hosted our college planning boot camps, week-long boot camps, we told school districts that we knew what we were doing and we could engage students. One of our school district partners in Texas dropped out and said, "We don't believe that you can engage middle school students in an all virtual session. They have to be in front of you." And we say, "No, you have just trust us." But they didn't trust us, which is fine, because with our partners in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida, we didn't miss a beat. We hosted 4-day college planning boot camps for middle school students and high school students, and we've been working with those students ever since. So our program has continued, and our engagement with students have continued, and my family and I have continued to be healthy. We have socially distant. You can do Zoom anywhere. You don't have to be in the room.
Tell me about it. Hey, it's been a blessing to be able to do what we've been doing through Empower, through how we do what we do. Because I have collaborators in St. Louis and Ghana, West Africa, and all that. So it's a blessing to be able to have this opportunity, to do this in this format for sure. Okay, what inspired you to get into education? First off.
When I left high school going to Northeastern University in Boston to major in electrical engineering. And I eventually switched my major into a dual major in business computer science, graduated from college, was working with IBM in California. And then after 2 years at IBM, I recognized that that was just not my calling. I have always been a writer. I started writing when I was in the second grade in public schools in Chicago. And so I left IBM. I pursued my writing full time. And then as a young writer, I was invited to teach middle school students in Los Angeles Unified School District. They had a program at the time called Proficiency in English, where they were teaching primarily students of color to acquire standard English skills. And so I started teaching middle school students at that time. They were called junior high, writing and public speaking. And it was in the course of doing that I saw something that really disturbed me, that I would go into a classroom and have a really engaging session with students. But then as soon as the bell rang, they would leave the classroom and go into a school climate was toxic, name calling and put downs and profanity. And that disturbed me so much. I said, this can't make any sense. There must be research that supports what a school should look and feel like if students are going to be successful. And so that's what took me into educational research. I published a book, Empowering African American Males, that dealt with school climate and culture and the types of dynamics that we need to cultivate to really put a web of protection around students. And then I began training on that model with students and speaking to parents.
All right, I think we have a technical issue. Just a minute. Let's see if I can get him back.
Okay, I'm still here. You back with me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Good. Okay. All right. Good. I'm sorry about that.
So where did I leave off?
Okay. All right. So you were sharing in regard to the California connection with the students and what you discovered from that experience.
Right. And so what has happened over the past 30 years is that my writing, my teaching, my training has all paralleled the growth of my own children. So as my children went through elementary school, the principles that we've laid out in the book, 10 Steps to Help Your Child Succeed in School, were all of the things that we recognize that parents had to do to ensure that their children maximize the opportunity of the elementary school experience. Then as our children went through middle school, I wrote a series of books on developing college-bound plans for middle school students. Our students went through high school, and I developed a series of books on developing a college-bound plan for high school students. And then sprinkled into all of that has been books, or have been books on creating the right school climate and culture, how to create an environment to have the highest possible student achievement, and then what types of things teachers should do to build collaboration with parents and students so that we're all vested in student success.
Understand. That's awesome. So tell us more about the foundation for ensuring access and equity. What is
My wife and I were education ministry leaders at the time of Turner Chapel AME Church here in Marietta, Georgia. And we created a program based in the church of college planning cohorts where we worked with families to support them through the entire college planning process, primarily for rising high school seniors. And then we created a foundation so we could expand on that work and partner with school districts and fraternities, sororities, and faith-based organizations. And then in the process of creating our foundation, which was also in 2007, we extended our programming from just high school seniors to working with middle school and high school students. So in our foundation over the past 13 years, we have partnered with colleges throughout the country. We have partnered with scholarship programs and school districts and faith-based organizations. And we've been able to really help students maximize not only the district resources where they live, but to position themselves to be offered admission to the best colleges and the largest dollar scholarships. And I don't believe there's a single program in America that has been more successful than we have.
Right. I've been following you and I've seen just some wonderful results from your program, and seeing I believe you've had quite a few Rhodes Scholars that have come through your program. Is that correct?
Well, we've had our first Rhodes Scholars.
First. Okay.
But we have had Gates Millennium Scholars,
Gates
Posse
Millennium,
Foundation,
right.
Meyerhoff Scholars, North Carolina A&T Dowdy Scholars, North Carolina Central Cheatham White Scholars. As a matter of fact, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, so I got this list for you. Northeastern University Tort Scholars, Elon University Odyssey Scholars, and University of Richmond Scholars.
Awesome. That's outstanding. So how many students would you say that you all have taken through your program?
we've worked with over 1,000 students and families. We typically work with about 250 students and families in our program each year, and then about
Okay.
300 students in our boot camps during the summer.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear and good to know. What would you consider to be your highest achievement with the foundation?
It would have to be um, first. I guess if I take a step back and look at conceptually how we arrived at where we are.
Hmm.
School districts for years have talked about programs being research based.
Okay,
Um,
right.
we have taken that a step further in that not only is all of our programming research based, but it's research responsive. So what that means is that we're tracking data all the time. So every
Hmm.
time we open up college access for a student to a school like the University of Chicago or Northwestern or University of Maryland, Baltimore County, we are gathering that data. How much money was offered that student in scholarships and what type of trajectory did that student receive in that school? And so then in doing that, for all of our students, they have access to those pathways. And not only that, but we stay in touch with all of the students who leave our program and they come back and serve as college students, as interns in our program. So they truly are open up doors of opportunities for our children as they get in. So because of that, we're able to look at that 6th grade through 12th grade journey in terms of course taking, grades, test scores, and college access. And we incorporate all of that into our curriculum. So a 6th grade student who's working with us now would know exactly what happened to a 12th grade student who just got offered admission to Wesleyan University or to Amherst College or to Williams College. So in that way, that 6th grader can plan that 7-year trajectory so that he or
Right.
she knows how to
Right.
get a particular scholarship or how to get into a particular college. No one does
All
that.
right.
None of the school districts do it. We have more
Right.
success in our program than many school districts have as an entire district. And so you're talking about a foundation working on a shoestring budget versus a school district with $100 million budget.
Right. I hear you. As I said when I was reaching out to you before, I was saying Dr. Wynn. Dr. Wynn, and you had to correct me and tell me, and I'm not a doctor, I'm Mr. So, but in my mind, you are a doctor. Okay. So, and for I understand you hadn't received your honorary doctorate yet. So, for all the colleges that you mentioned, I hope that you are listening and I hope that you get with your board members and trustees and all that good stuff, and you go ahead and give this brother his just due with his honorary doctorate. And it needs to be from more than one university.
You
Hello.
know, it's interesting. You know, Ron, I tell you, it is something when you say that
Okay.
because some of our college partners, we are the go-to organization when they're looking for high-performing students of color. They know
Mhm.
that we have some of the best performing students in our program in the country. And it's not because, see, a parent asked me at our meeting yesterday, she said, well, how concerned should we be with college graduation rates? And what I was explaining to her is that when you look at Harvard and they have over a 90% graduation rate, that's because they only admit the top students in the country. So they're supposed to
Mhm.
graduate at a rate of 90%. But when you look at
Mhm.
Morehouse College may have a 60 or 70% graduation rate. But that's because while they admit Black men who are class valedictorian and salutatorians who will graduate at a rate of 90%, they also take marginal students who could not have gotten into these selective schools. And
I
so what we
understand.
do in our program is we work with everybody. And so we
Mhm.
take students who are marginal in 6th grade who are now performing at with achieving straight A's by 8th grade because they own the process. And then
I
when they
understand.
leave middle school and go into high school, they're able to take high level classes that normally they would not have had access to because they would not have had the middle school grades to qualify for admission into those classes. So the
I
work that
see.
we're doing, I mean, it is divine work. It is truly
I agree.
spiritually led.
I agree. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree with you with that, especially being in session with you. I felt that. I really did. And so let's unpack one of your books of the 28 books that you have. This is the Empower Room. You're with Empower Media LLC, and we're enjoying a conversation and educational empowerment with Empower Media LLC. Our guest is Mr. Michael Wynn, founder and CEO of Foundation for Ensuring Access and Equity. All right, so let's unpack one of your books, The 10 Steps to Helping Your Child Succeed in School. And you have volume 5. And in relation to that, I see there's a breakdown within the book that the first step is get to know your child. Right. The second step is identify the best school. The third step is develop a plan. The next is to meet the staff. Number 5 is to be visible. Number 6 is tell teachers how to best communicate with you. Number 7, prepare for school. Number 8 is prepare for testing. Number 9, talk about what your child is learning. And number 10 is stay focused on the dream. So in relation to, I just want to kind of unpack maybe a couple of the steps. I know one, the get to know your child, I found to be a very interesting thing to do. So can you give us some more insight in what you mean by getting to know your child?
But when we look at it, a family, I'll take our family example. We have 2 sons.
Mhm.
They have very different gifts.
Mhm.
They have very different personalities, and they
Mhm.
have very different learning styles. So to send them to school and to try to manage them the same way and work with them the same way it can't be successful. It's like you
Mhm.
can't work on a Mercedes the same way that you're going to work on a Ford. They're different. They're different vehicles, different
That is
cars.
true. That is
So
true.
when you have one child who is a highly auditory learner, then that
Mhm.
child needs more language and more words. When you have
Mhm.
another child that's highly visual learner, that
Mhm.
child needs more pictures and more illustrations. When you have a
Yes,
child
sir.
that's an introverted personality type, they need more time to process their thoughts before they articulate their thoughts, and they need rules of engagement. When you have a child that is an extroverted personality type, they don't need rules of engagements. They just talk. Extroverts, you
Right.
put them all together in the room, they're all talking at the same time. Nobody's
Right.
listening to anyone,
Right.
but it's perfectly fine with them. Not only that,
Right.
but then when you start to look at learning styles, some children perform best in lit, bright lit conditions. Other children, not so brightly lit. Some children, they're not going to take notes and they process by memorization. Other children, they need to take notes because they need to see it on paper. So when you look at all of these things as a parent, what we're saying to parent, you should know your child better than any classroom teacher. And so when your child
Understand.
starts school, you should tell the classroom teacher what you know about your child so that you can help them to do an effective job teaching your child. But that
Understand.
translates to everything, how you manage your child at home, how you motivate your child. Some children are motivated extrinsically, whereas other children are motivated intrinsically. I mean, so this is really, it's a picture, it's developing a picture of each of your children and then presenting that picture to the classroom teacher on the first day of school, and then
Yes,
telling them
sir.
exactly what you need for them to do so that you can be their partner in your child's success. The irony is is that for parents of children of color
Hmm.
who oftentimes are in hostile school settings,
Yes.
to defer all learning and teaching to the school doesn't make any common sense.
It
You
doesn't.
have
Yeah.
to own the process, and you have
Hmm.
to become partners with the teachers. And then you have
Hmm.
to always recognize good teachers from bad teachers. And
Hmm.
for someone who says, well, all teachers are good, that's foolish. That's like saying every doctor is a good doctor. Just because a person
Right.
went to medical school doesn't mean they're a good doctor. It means they have a
Right.
medical school license. That's all. They get sued all the time. So,
Right.
so if you're going to be a partner, then it means being able to go to the principal and say, this is the type of teacher that I think my child needs to be successful. So of all of your first grade teachers, which teacher do you believe is the best teacher for my child? And then all of your second grade teachers, which teacher do you believe is the best? And they're working that every single year.
Every year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of intentionality that's required on the parents' part that you don't really see. That's not the norm.
Right.
That's not the norm. And when you do see those type of parents, 'cause I remember our daughter, when she was in school, there were some concerns we were having, and there was a book that we went and actually read. I read the book from the beginning to the end. So when we went in and we had our discussion with the teacher and the counselors and all that, we knew our stuff. Uh, I
Right.
think it blew them away that we were so articulate and so on top of what was going on in regard to the situation that they were having, at that time, and we were able to it forged a better relationship with all of us working together. It really
Right.
did in
And
the
that's
end.
and that's
In the end.
exactly the way that the 10-step book was written for parents to
Hmm.
read it and for it to provide a blueprint for how they interact with their schools. So when they go to their child's school, that they immediately present all their information to the school and then talk about within context the dreams and aspirations they have for their children's gifts and talents, their best and worst
Hmm.
learning situations, all of those things that can just provide the best opportunity for a child to enjoy the school year and for them to learn and not only learn, but to know that they're learning at a high level.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, also another one of the other steps is about being visible. I think it's important too because we find that in regards to Ferguson Florissant School District, that's why we had you to come in because we were trying to come up with ways, along with the Ella Marie Wilcock, who was over the parent engagement for Ferguson Florissant School District at the time. We were looking at ways to increase parent
Right,
engagement.
right.
And I think that is so important that the parents get involved. So, what recommendations do you have for those parents? That when they're single parents, they're doing all they can to keep the food on the table, lights on, and work and all that. What suggestions do you have for those that may be in that type of environment or situation?
Some of the things that I outline in the book is for parents to contact their child's teachers and ask,
Hmm.
what can I do to be
Hmm.
supportive? And
Hmm.
one of the examples I provide in the book is just cutting out feet. And that was something that my wife did,
I saw
is
that.
that
Right.
we had a situation or a teacher, one of the classrooms with our son, who said that she needed feet because she wanted to have feet on the floor and going up the wall. So my wife cut out feet and she sent all those feet to school.
Hmm.
Other opportunities are when they take their own gifts and talents. Parents oftentimes will go to school for a career day, but if you're an artist, then you can help design a bulletin board and you don't have to do that during the school day. You can do it on the weekend or you can do it after school. If a parent is a musician, you can create music for a classroom, or you can go in and demonstrate different instruments, particularly during different times when they're studying topics like Cinco de Mayo or Black History Month, or so what we try to encourage parents to see is use your gifts and talents to support your child's classroom on whatever level that is. Even if a parent is, this is another one. I think
Okay.
I talk about this in the book, that parents who are
Hmm.
construction workers, they would go down to our son's school and they built a bridge in the media center from one side of the room to another side of the room so that children could sit on the bridge and read books or sit under the bridge and read books. But they did that
Okay.
on the weekends. So,
Huh.
everything that parents do, whether if
Hmm.
they're working as a chef or working in computer software design or working in construction, they could take that skill set to their child's school and make a contribution. And children have so much pride because imagine this: a child sits on the bridge in the media center to read a book, and there's a
Hmm.
plaque on that bridge that says, "This was done by Michael Wynn's dad." So that child is
Yeah.
sitting on the bridge saying, "My daddy built this bridge." I mean,
Right. Right.
that's what can
That's cool.
happen, and that's how you have ownership, and that's how children know that the school is really part of the community.
Indeed, indeed. Very good, very good. And one other piece I wanted to bring up is prepare for school. Prepare for school and how important it is to have schedules, to have create structure at home for your child during the school year. Put in the school calendar on the refrigerator, making sure they go to bed at a certain time. When it comes to testing, that they're doing the proper things that they need to do to prepare for testing, getting some pre-test information from the teacher
Right.
to practice. Those I think are phenomenal steps and suggestions that you provide in the book as well.
And all of that is easy.
Hmm.
It's easy to do. And
Mm.
there are no excuses. There are parents who will say, well, you don't understand, I work 2 jobs. Well, if you work 2 jobs, having a schedule is more important for your household than
For
anybody else's
real.
household.
That's right.
And
That's
sitting
right.
down and setting a schedule, this is when my children are going to get up. This is how they're going to have breakfast. This is where, even at nighttime, raising boys are totally unorganized. When they come in the house, the shoes go one way, book bag go another way, homework is another. They don't know what the
Right.
dictionary is, what the thesaurus is. Parents
Hmm.
have to own this process and just have a box. And in that box
Right.
are school supplies, the dictionary, the source, everything they need. And then when they come in, have a routine. When you come in, put your backpack at the door. Take your
Hmm.
shoes off and put them right there. Lay out your clothes for the next day at night before you go to bed, so that when you get up, you're not going through your drawer looking for clothes. Have a
Hmm.
schedule. We expect you to be in the bathroom at 6:30. We expect you
Hmm.
out of the bathroom at 6:40. Your brother
Hmm.
goes in the bathroom at 6:45. If you're not out of
Hmm.
his way, then you simply won't wash your face on that school day. And then at 7 o'clock, you eat your oatmeal. At 7:15, your brother eats his oatmeal. At 7:30, you're down at that bus stop. Then you're on the bus. So, I mean, that is literally, when you do that, children have an opportunity to be successful. And there
Right.
is nothing more important than the feeling that children get when they feel like they're successful and that they
Right.
have some control and some ownership of what's happening in their lives.
Right. And Mr. Wynn, when I was reading the book, what it made me think about was that this is a competitive reality in regard to the educational piece of going to college.
Right.
Okay. So with that, just like if you're on a football team, on a basketball team, or whatever sports team, there is a rigor that goes with that. There's a structure that goes with that. There's practice that goes with that. So this is the same thing. It's just for you and your academic success,
Right.
and the more that you have the structure and the planning and layout, the regiment for that to the time you graduate from high school, the better off you're going to be,
And
and the
that
better reward.
and when you say that, it sounds so simple. So
Hmm.
the thing that is bewildering is that as a community, we know that when it relates to athletes. When we have athletes, they're in Pop Warner football, they have
Yeah.
routine, they practice
Right.
throughout the summer,
Right.
they keep
Right.
all their equipment is in one place, they
Right.
have a diet, and we do that from the time they start in first and second grade all the way through 12th grade. We look at academics as almost an afterthought.
True.
When in
True.
actuality, when you follow the data, the average, I won't say the average. I'll just give an
Hmm.
example. We have a student
Okay.
this year who will receive a full scholarship to the University of Chicago that will be valued at over $300,000. The
Wow.
average athletic scholarship is only $11,000 a year. So you pour
Man.
all of your attention into helping your child become an athlete, when the chance of that
Right.
child becoming a pro athlete is less than 1%, but
True.
not pour the same amount of energy into their academics, when the
Demons.
opportunity for them to get far more scholarship money and have a far more enriching life after high school doesn't make any
Right.
sense. It just
I,
does not make
it makes
any
sense.
sense.
I got
It
you.
comes from we as a community, we still struggle with the self internalized belief that our children can be as successful academically as they are athletically, and particularly when it comes to our boys. When it comes to our boys, we make no excuses athletically. Work harder, work harder. Listen to your coach, work harder. When it comes to academics, well, you know, his father wasn't that good in math, so that's why he's not that good. I wasn't good when I'm not a good writer. That's why we make excuse after excuse, and we got to stop it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Man, this is so powerful, Mr. Wynn. Thank you so much for being with us again. This is Michael Wynn that is with us today, and he's just imparting some empowering knowledge with us today. And I just want to I just wanted to bring one other thing. I don't want to give the whole book away, but I just wanted to bring up one other thing that really stuck out to me was step 10. Stay focused on the dream. And I like how you unpack that, because to me, you're not saying that, you go and you try to find the best job that you can get. You go and you find what truly is your talent, that it goes beyond the job. To me,
Yes.
it goes beyond that, which is really something that's not taught in school. And can you expound more on that?
In school, we frequently say, what do you want to be? You know, most of us are going to be on a journey for our entire lives. We don't know what we want to be, but we know what we love to do. You know, so if we rephrase the question, what's your passion? What do you love to do? Now, for some boys, I would say they are truly passionate about athletics. Whether or not they go to the NFL, they would love to coach youth football, to be a personal trainer. They get up every day, they can't wait to run and exercise, and that's their passion. Whereas there are other students, they get up every day, man, they just want to start programming. They want to write apps for your cell phone. They want to create new apps. They want to shoot YouTube videos. So if you just focus on the passion, then if you use that passion to lead them through learning, they're going to get up every day, hungry to go to school, can't wait to get there so they can be producers. They can produce a film, or produce music, or produce writing and poetry. And then when they go to college, pursuing that same passion, and then taking that passion into the workplace, they would never work a day in their life because they will love every day that they get up and go and do what they do. Earning money would simply be a bonus. And we don't talk like that as a community. And here's another irony. We don't talk like that as a community, but we are a big church-going community. But in the Bible, it says God calls us for a purpose. You know, he equips us with an anointing to do what he has called us to do. So then it seems reasonable that we should help our children discover their purpose, which typically is rooted in their passion, and then provide an education to pursue that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's powerful to me. So I want to encourage everyone. How can they purchase your books? How can they get in contact with you? There may be persons from school districts that may want to have your program in their school system or in their school or whatever. So how can people get in contact with you, Mr. Wynn?
They can always go to our foundation website, which is www.access, and equity, EQUITY.org. Or if they can't remember that, they can just Google my name.
Okay. All right. And they say you just Google your name. Is that correct? Okay. Michael Wynn. Okay, we're having the connection issues again.
So, and they can always,
so if you Google your name,
always find me, Michael, MyChalWynn. When you Google my name, the first thing you're going to see is all the books that are sold on Amazon.com, which is fine. But we would prefer that they come to our website and buy our books direct. They get it faster, and they know they won't get them email and it's not in stock. It's always in stock with us. And that's awesome. They can always email me through our website as well.
All right, all right. So that's Michael Wynn, everyone. For anyone who's interested in reaching out to Mr. Wynn and purchasing his books, it's MyChalWhnn. Is that correct? WYNN. I'm sorry, WYNN. I'm sorry. I see looking at a W and saying H. WYNN.
This is the book that we've been talking about today. That's
Yes,
my son
indeed.
right
Yes, indeed.
there. When he was in elementary school, he's now a Gates Millennium Scholar.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I remember when they were young, when you all came to Ferguson Parts of School District, and they are doing outstanding with the guidance of outstanding wise parents. So thank you all so much. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, you have any closing remarks that you would like to share in regard to anything? I mean, the floor is yours.
Our community has to begin to think long term. That
Okay.
we should stop having this conversation about whether or not our children have the potential to go to college, whether or not college is for everybody. We need to think long term. What's supposed to happen in the life of your child after high school? Now, maybe after high school, for one child, it is technical college or community college. For another child, it's a 4-year university, or for another child, it's military enlistment. But whatever that is, that conversation has to start early, and that has to be the context for everything that we do. And so if we can keep that in mind, then we have a chance to reduce student loan debt, which disproportionately impacts the Black community. We have a chance to increase college enrollment rates, which disproportionately Black males are among the lowest demographic group to go to college. We have the potential to increase college degree attainment. Black males are the lowest group in terms of college degree attainment. And if we can just think long term, then we simply, in our program, we call it backwards mapping. We come back to the day in kindergarten and we're asking the question, what types of things do I need to do between now and 12th grade so that my child has the best opportunities? We will be in a good place. And we have to raise expectations. And we've been talking about this since you were in Ferguson, since I started in Los Angeles. And
Yes.
it just plagues our community that we can't seem to get our heads wrapped around the fact that our children should be at the top and competing with anyone, anywhere. And it should not be an exception. It should become the rule.
Indeed. Indeed.
And we
Well,
have
I
to,
want to thank you. Go ahead.
final
Go
point I
ahead.
want to make is we have to push school districts to invest in our children. And that's the
Okay.
thing. We have the best program that I believe in America to do the things that we do, but not enough school districts want to invest in students. They still spend their money on parent workshops where no one attends, staff
Right.
development where no one
Right.
goes back and implements anything,
Bless it.
and they don't
Right.
spend any money on delivering services directly to children, which is where it needs to be. If we're going to get more of our children into college, we need to get more people working hands-on with our children, helping them navigate that 7-year, 6th grade through 12th grade journey through middle school and high school. So parents need to become advocates, and they need to ask their school districts, their superintendents, what are you doing for my child? Don't tell me about the programs. Tell me about the services you're delivering directly to my child. We'll be in a much better place.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Well, Mr. Wynn, this has been a very impactful educational empowerment discussion. I knew I had the right one when I reached out to you to have this conversation for sure. So I want to thank you so much for being on with us today, and keep doing what you're doing. And I pray that it will be able to expand to other parts of the country as well as it needs to. And anything that Empower can do to assist, we're more than happy to collaborate with you in any kind of way. And have admired you since we first met some years back. And may the blessings of the Lord continue to be upon you and your family and your organization.
Thank you so much. God bless you, brother. Thank you for having me.
God bless you. Oh, definitely, definitely. All right. Well, thank you again, Mr. Wynn. And definitely, you all make sure you go out to get any one of his 28 books that are available for purchase. We definitely just unpacked one of them, 10 Steps for Helping Your Child Succeed in School, the volume 5, the fifth edition of that. So please make sure you get this. This is, I think, an excellent Christmas gift to be able to give to someone. All right, and just an excellent life gift for those of you all who have children and trying to navigate how best to prepare them and put them on the path of success. You got it right here with Michael Wynn and the Foundation for Ensuring Access and Equity. All right, so thank you again, Mr. Wynn. God blessings to you and your family, and we will definitely keep in contact.
Thank you, brother. God
All
bless
right,
you.
okay, God bless. Okay, you too. All right. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being with us today in the Empower Room. I don't know about you, but it is gotten a little hot up in here. So, I mean, I pray that you have benefited from a lot of the information that Mr. Wynn had to impart with us today. Again, I want to encourage you to get the 10 steps to helping your child succeed in school. You can reach out to the Michael Wynn Foundation. You can go and Google his name, Mychal, last name Wynn, WHNN. They also have a website, which is www.accessandequity.org. All right, so www.accessandequity.org. All right, www.accessandequity.org. All right, so I hope that you all are empowered by this conversation today. Please like our page, share our page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We just started a couple of weeks ago. We have some exciting things that we have planned in 2021, and we're trying to increase our viewership and our followers to a wonderful, healthy number that we're blessed to have what we have now, but we want to increase it to even more so we can move forward in what Empower is planning to do in 2021. All right, so next week, we're going to have a very engaging conversation again. It will actually be the In the Blink of an Eye celebration. The book, my first book that I published, will be, we're going to celebrate some of the folks that helped put the book together, that contributed to the book and that type of thing on next week. So we want to encourage everyone to come on out and join us, and pray that you will be inspired by our dialogue on next week in relation to my first published book, In the Blink of an Eye, an out of this world experience. So please join us on next week, next Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you all have a blessed week. Okay, be safe, everyone. Wear your mask. Okay, make sure you're social distancing. Wash your hands. Don't gather in large gatherings, please. Be mindful of the other, whether you know them or you don't. Be mindful, okay? This pandemic is not over. Yes, there is a vaccine that is being delivered as we speak, but it's not covering everybody yet. We still have a long way to go. So we can do it. We can do it. I know we can do it because God says we can. All right? So God bless, and you all have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week. God bless. And don't forget to do something.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev T.